Hello, my name is Jiaqi Cao, a recent graduate of the University for the Creative Arts in the UK. The title of my speech today is China's National Public Cultural Security Construction Under the Cultural Differences Between East and West. Thank you for attending my speech today. So, we stand at the crossroads of an era of unprecedented cultural exchange where the tapestry of global interactions is weaving complex patterns of influence and adaptation. In this dynamic era, the notion of national cultural security has become not just an academic pursuit, but a cornerstone of national identity and sovereignty. My research delves into the heart of this discourse, exploring the delicate battleground where China's rich cultural heritage meets the diverse influences of Western civilization. So, background and motivation. In the realm of globalization, cultural security is more than the protection of heritage. It is also a reflection of a nation's identity amidst a wave of global influences. This part of my research stems from the pioneering work of Hu Huilin, who first introduced the concept of national cultural security, which was further explored quantitatively by Han Yuan's team. Here, I believe that the empirical research of some scholars in the social sciences, as represented by Han Yuan's team, is of outstanding importance because, in the absence of quantitative research on the construction of cultural security and the social sciences as a whole, they provide interdisciplinary research material that cannot be replaced by other research. It should be noted, however, that this does not imply the absolute dominance of positivism, and that positivist discourses have many limitations, such as the need to assume the homogeneity of the object of study and the neglect of the elaboration of inner logic and essence. When the East meets the West, we find a rich and colorful cultural exchange, full of opportunities and challenges. My research is motivated by a deep curiosity about how China, with its millennia-old civilization, confronts and integrates the diverse cultural practices and ideologies of the West. This inquiry is not merely academic, it is an exploration of strategies for consolidating the nation's cultural core while engaging in a global cultural dialogue. Through this research, we aim to chart a path for China that preserves its cultural heritage while embracing the dynamism of global interconnectedness. And then, methodology overview. To uncover the complexities of cultural security, my research takes a dual approach, combining quantitative and qualitative analysis. Drawing on Hoste's model of national culture, I explore the complex cultural dimensions that define society. Known for its comprehensive assessment of cultural values, the model serves as my compass for navigating the cultural landscapes of China and the West. In addition, our analyses are enriched by a set of well-designed indicators for assessing national cultural security, designed to measure the resilience and adaptability of cultural identities. Through this methodological lens, my research seeks to capture the subtle interplay between cultural preservation and global integration, providing a powerful framework for understanding and enhancing national cultural security. Let's talk about the key findings. As I embarked on this research, Hoste's theory of cultural dimensions guided my analyses, and this framework greatly facilitated my understanding of cultural differences between countries. This theory revealed profound differences between Western and Chinese cultures, and provided me with a lens through which to examine the complex dynamics of cultural security. Power distance. My findings show that China has a high power distance index, suggesting that Chinese society accepts the hierarchical order without much question. This contrasts with many Western cultures, where power distance is typically low and a more egalitarian approach to power is encouraged. This fundamental difference has implications for organizational structures, management patterns, and social interactions, as well as for the formulation and implementation of cultural policy. Individualism against collectivism. Perhaps one of the starkest contrasts is embodied in the dimension of individualism against collectivism. Western societies are characterized by a high degree of individualism, valuing personal achievement and independence. In contrast, Chinese culture is rooted in collectivism, emphasizing the importance of groups such as the family, the community, and the state. This cultural trait has shaped China's approach to social welfare, education, and even the media and entertainment industries, which promote elements that reinforce collective values and social harmony. Avoiding uncertainty. Interestingly, my research found that China, despite its long history and rich cultural traditions, scored relatively low on avoiding uncertainty compared to Western countries. This suggests that China has a higher tolerance for uncertainty and a more flexible attitude towards change and innovation. This characteristic may be a double-edged sword, offering the possibility of dynamic cultural development, but also requiring vigilant measures to prevent cultural erosion. Long-term orientation. China's strong long-term orientation reflects a forward-looking perspective deeply rooted in Confucian philosophy, which values resilience, frugality, and respect for tradition. This contrasts with the short-term orientation of Western culture, which tends to prioritize immediate results and rapid innovation. This dimension highlights the strategic planning behind China's cultural policy, which promotes sustainable cultural development and forward-looking innovation while respecting the past. Indulgence against restraint. My research also looks at the indulgence against restraint dimension, where China's scores indicate that it is a society that values restraint. This is reflected in its conservative social norms, tight control over the media, public expressions of joy or dissent. The West scores higher on the indulgence dimension and tends to champion freedom of expression and the pursuit of happiness, leading to different social dynamics and cultural security challenges. Another dimension is the extent of masculinity and femininity, but the comparative gap in this area is small, which bodes well for mutual learning. These cultural dimensions not only outline China's national identity, but also highlight the complexity of managing cultural security in a globalized world. They reveal the delicate balance required to maintain cultural integrity while engaging in meaningful global exchanges. Our findings suggest that China needs to develop nuanced policies to protect its cultural heritage, promote social cohesion, and embrace the richness of globalization. At the end of this section, it is clear to us that an understanding of these cultural dimensions provides valuable insights into developing the strategies needed to strengthen China's cultural security. It beckons us to a future where cultural diversity is celebrated and national identity is preserved, even as we move towards an increasingly interconnected global society. The challenges and coping strategies. In considering the challenges and responses to China's cultural security, it is important to recognize the multifaceted nature of these issues. While globalization promotes unprecedented cultural exchange, it also poses significant threats to national cultural identities. For China, these challenges are multifaceted, including the risk of cultural homogenization, the dilution of traditional values, and the possibility of cultural imperialism. In response to these volatile situations, China has embarked on a strategic path that emphasizes the strengthening of its cultural heritage and the promotion of cultural diversity. One of the key ways of doing this has been to strengthen public cultural services to ensure that the richness and diversity of Chinese culture is shared by all, thereby fostering a sense of national pride and solidarity. At the same time, concerted efforts have been made to strengthen cultural education and instill an understanding of traditional values in the younger generation, while encouraging creativity and innovation. In addition, the strategic promotion of cultural exchanges on international platforms has enabled China to showcase the richness and diversity of its culture, opening up a dialogue that transcends national boundaries and fosters mutual respect. Coupled with policies to protect intangible cultural heritage, China's cultural heritage has been passed down from generation to generation. In sum, addressing these challenges requires a balanced strategy of preserving China's cultural heritage while seizing the opportunities offered by global interactions. By carefully planning and implementing these strategies, China can address the complex issues of cultural security and ensure that its rich culture thrives in a changing global environment. Here are some conclusions and call to action. In summary, our exploration of China's cultural security in the midst of global change has revealed the delicate relationship between preserving its rich cultural heritage and embracing the dynamism of global exchange. This journey highlights the need for strategic flexibility to foster a cultural ecosystem that is both resilient and vibrant. I call on policymakers, scholars, and the global community to join hands and promote initiatives that safeguard cultural diversity as a global treasure. Let us work together to ensure that cultural heritage is not only preserved but also celebrated, paving the way for a richer and more inclusive world. And finally, closing remarks. As I come to the end of my discussion, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone here for their participation and reflection. I hope that our journey to explore issues of cultural security and identity in the context of globalization has stimulated your curiosity and enthusiasm for preserving our rich and diverse cultures. Let us take the lessons learned here and contribute to building a world that is not only tolerant but respectful of diversity. Thank you again for your time and commitment to cultural understanding and preservation.